What do you call a wood elf who's been drinking skooma? A high elf. What's going on, YouTube? So, with ESO Plus being free, the Zeals of Zenithar event can perfectly be maximized by any player currently. There's tons of different ways for you guys to talk about and get reward boxes, different farming methods, different ways that you can get additional benefits, things that are good for gold, good items to have. And we're going to be talking about all that today and more because this event's huge, and now you guys are all going to be able to benefit equally, which I absolutely love. Before we jump into the video, this is just a quick reminder to like and subscribe. We have just passed 15,000 subscribers. I want to thank you guys again for that milestone. We're on the road to 16,000, so if you guys don't mind hitting the subscribe button, bring you all the information, and I read all your comments. So that's my sales pitch. So on its surface, there's a couple different ways you guys can see here how to farm these boxes. We're just going to go through this super fast before we talk about how to min-max your boxes. Completing a daily crafting writ, those are the little daily quests that you guys can do. Completing a master writ, those are those little book wrap scallions. However, different from last year, completing any master writ per discipline per account each day will grant you a reward box. So that's 1 enchanting, 1 alchemy, 1 clothing, yada, 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 yada. You do your second enchanting one, they don't care. You're not getting a reward box for that anymore. I think this was meant more so because last year a lot of people were really hoarding writ books ahead of time, and not a lot of players were able to mid-max and farm it as much as some of the more endgame players were. Not saying I agree with that decision, by the way, just saying that that's kind of, I think, why they made this change. Completing rounds of group arenas, namely Dragonstar Arena and Black Rose Prison, while group with someone who is a member of one of your guilds. This is actually pretty efficient. If you're interested, definitely Dragonstar Arena is significantly better and faster. Also some great leads and things that drop from Dragonstar Arena. It's also a really good XP route. So already if you're thinking to yourself, well, I'd like to have some boxes and XP, Dragonstar Arena is a really good option. Same with Black Rose Prison. Great experience from there. Also, defeating a world boss while group with a player. Now, there's a lot of really good routes that you can farm world bosses, but there is none that is better than what I'm going to show you. I call this the Tres Entendre. I don't call it that. I just needed the segue. These 3 world bosses, if you go over here, you're going to be able to farm groups of people running in between them consistently. Now, unfortunately, world bosses don't have like a Dolem type Alakir Desert respawn rate, so you're not going to be able to easily see which world boss they're going, from at the beginning. But once you see the group of people, you just kind of go along with them with your guild member. There's also an anchor right next to it that you can also do. The sets from here are also pretty decent too. 7th Legion has a decent bit of resale value, so does Spriggans. Probably will be farmed to the ground during this event, so keep that in mind. But when it comes to world boss respawns, I don't think anywhere beats Bankerai. And in considering too, amongst world bosses, if for example, you really want to have some good sets from a zone, this could be a way to do that as well. Say, for example, you really want to farm Vardenfell. Well, you could just take a group mate to go to Vardenfell. It's not going to be the same cluster of respawns when it comes to world bosses, but that doesn't mean it's not a good spot for you to be able to farm. Now, the next one is complete world events. Now, some people might be confused on what world events are. World events are basically any event that takes place in the overworld that includes other players. So think dragons, hero storms, dolems, which anchors, some people refer to them as. Think about those little geysers in Somerset and so on and so on and so on. Those are going to be your world events. So, what are the best world events? I can hear your brain juices are flowing. Well, if you're interested in experience, taking a guildmate to the Alakir Desert to level up is going to give you an exceptionally fast level of experience. It's going to be relatively easy for those who haven't done it before. The Alakir Desert Dolems spawn in a circle. So basically, you go from Dolem to Dolem to Dolem, or some people call them Dolmen to Dolmen to Dolmen. I realize now that I'm probably saying it incorrectly, and there'll be a bajillion comments about it, and I apologize. Please don't hurt me. But the actual best suggestion I have, now that all of you guys are with ESO Plus, is actually Southern Elsewhere. Now, Southern Elsewhere has this cool thing called dragons. And dragons are filled with some pretty important things. Now you might think to yourself, oh, is it because Southern Elsewhere has got some good loot? No. They're filled with great alchemy re-ingredients. Blood, bile, Rheum. Now Rheum, you have to have completed the quest The Good Bits, which requires you to do dailies inside of Southern Elsewhere, so don't panic if you don't see Rheum dropping. It's certainly not necessary. Dragon Blood and Dragon Bile and Dragon Rheum are all perfectly good re-ingredients. And honestly, when I was calculating the math when I did my Dragon Slaying video, on Xbox, where inflation is equal to PlayStation and not nearly as high as it was on PC. If you're on PC, just multiply these numbers by like 5 to 10. A single dragon that you kill could give you between 10 and 30,000 gold worth of items to sell, treasures, and re-ingredients, which is ludicrous when you think about their spawn rate. Add on top of that, now the ability for you to get these boxes with guildmates, and it really just stacks and stacks and stacks together. So, to me, no question, Southern Elsewhere is the best group area for you to farm. You might think, well, why not Northern Elsewhere? The dragons are just closer to the Way Shrine than Southern Elsewhere. Northern Elsewhere does have a better sets that drop. So, for example, you're going to definitely be able to sell Crafty Elfique a little bit better. But really, you're going to be focused on those alchemy re-ingredients, and your focus is going to be on those actual treasures. So you can actually get things that you can quick sell. So you don't even have to go on the ESO open market to sell these, and because they're re-ingredients, they go straight into your craft bag. And we end off with a little bit of a weird one, so I have suggestions, don't worry. Participating in Ledgerman activities such as pickpocketing, opening strong boxes, or Thieves Guild troves. You won't always get a parcel, but the drop rate is decent. Beware that if you're caught by the guards after stealing, all stolen parcels and rewards from your inventory will be lost, no daily limit. So, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Jake, if I wanted to be a little bit of a little thief here, where should I go to do that? And the answer to that is Ebon Heart, and this is inside of Stonefalls, which is one of the starter zones, so it's super easy to get here. This dock is filled with people that you can easily steal from. It's one of the easiest places, in my opinion, to be able to go to pickpocket. Now, there are some other places, because unfortunately, unlike world events, where you kind of want more people to be there, you really don't want people to be in your Thieves Guild stealing spot, so you kind of have to take that into consideration. So if for some reason there's 50 bajillion people in the actual Ebon Heart, let's talk about some other places you can go. My next favorite is actually inside of Evermore Castle, which is inside of Evermore. That's where Evermore Castle would be, you would think, inside of Evermore. And you're able to get here pretty easily too. Now, this is a base game zone, so usually find some people here. People are going to be farming the world bosses here, so you're probably going to be able to find a teleport here kind of easily. It just sucks because you're not going to instantly have a way shrine on this kind of area versus other, so just kind of keep that in mind. I also wanted to kind of point out too that some of you guys may struggle to complete the world events just because of how many people are doing them. Now, dragons, I don't think you guys will struggle with, but sometimes I've noticed people will struggle with doing the Alakir Desert, so a good backup to that is actually Deshaun. Deshaun also has a decent world boss ride. You can see there's a decent cluster, and there's actual roads that kind of connect these, but you do kind of have to go in and out of water. But I've seen people farm just these three, leave out the fourth, maybe kind of rope in this dolmen. So those are options that you have also. The nice thing about Deshaun is that the sets here are significantly better than most sets when it comes to resale value. Mother Sorrow and Plague Doctor are just way better, in my opinion. So that's a really good alternative that you guys would have. But let me know what you guys plan to farm in the comments below. There's so many zones in the Elder Scrolls Online. There's so many world bosses. There's so many dolmen clusters. There's so many world events. There's so many things. So to kind of go over what I think is going to be the best is always going to be a little bit subjective. So I'd love to hear what you guys are going to be doing in the comments below. And just by putting a comment in the comments below, you guys are going to be entered into the giveaway drawings. We are doing 3 giveaway drawings, 1 random comment, 1 random subscriber, and then a random word be flashed upon a video in the month of July. You comment it first, you win. It's really just my way to incentivize people to watch more of my videos that they might think, I feel like I am confident about this subject. Maybe I don't need to watch this video, but I'll just go see what a stupid intro pun is and let the video play through. That's all I want. I'm a simple man. I just want to I just want you guys to let the video play through, you know, in the background. So let me know what you guys will be farming, and I'll catch you guys there. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.
Assuming that there's no other big things that need to be discussed upon, the next video will be the mid-game player guide, and then we'll begin the process of working on the end-game player guide. It's just kind of a bit of an intimidating video because I can already see people reacting to it and going, oh, actually, this is not the way. I wish I had a fedora for this bit. This is not the way you should mid-max a mid-game player. And in fact, if you were wanting to do that, you should have farmed this zone over here. And my response would be like, well, sets are always changing. I want this returning player guide or the actual like mid-game player guide to always be relevant, not just subjective to some set that for some reason has gone into the meta, never has been in the meta before, and will probably fall off in a year. I like consistent sets over ones that are just good for one or two patches, and they'll go, that's not accurate information to today, so we'll see how it goes. But thank you guys again. Hope to see you in that video. Hope you like this one, and I'll see you later. Peace.